guys, it's Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and it is finally time that I can test and showcase the real power that is Feral Artifact set in Raid Shadow Legends. This is a set that you can only acquire by winning Siege. Now, most of the time you can get to a 6-piece bonus because you do get a lot of really good, high powerful gear in Siege, right? This set is a variable set, so 1 through to 6 through to 9, you can get all the different bonuses. But you can only get the accessories for this set to get the 9-piece bonus from winning victory. And you don't get that many. You get like 8 from that kind of chest, and you don't know which faction it's going to land in. You don't know what kind of stats you're going to get. So it's very difficult to actually get the full piece 9 bonus. But why is that really important? What is Feral set? Well, it's a variable set. I currently have it on who I think is the best champion. This set is built for Riho Bonespear. So what does Feral do? Feral is a 9-piece bonus. It primarily gives you accuracy and speed. You get 40 accuracy here, 5% speed, 40 accuracy. Pretty much you're getting 120 accuracy if you can get all the way to 7-piece bonuses. I think normal perception set gives you 40 for 2 pieces. So it's a pretty, it's pretty evenly consistent with sort of a perception piece, but obviously you get all these extra effects. Now we get a bit of speed with this, 15% over the 9 pieces as well. And then we get 3 main passive type effects. We get block debuffs, so it's effectively an immunity set at the start of the round for 2 turns. We also have a 50% chance to prevent the placement of sheep debuffs. Now, I will say this is not that valuable because still at 50-50, it's a bit like Stone Skin. 50-50, you can't really rely on bringing a remove buff to get rid of Stone Skin. Same as reducing duration with Stone Skin, it's always a 50-50. And this is a similar case. You're going to get a bit of protection, but it's not going to give you the value. If you really want to avoid polymorph, you bring the one set that guarantees that you don't get polymorph, which is Pinpoint, right? Pinpoint will give you the intercept. That will guarantee every single time that you don't get it. What you really are looking at Feral for is the 9-piece bonus. Allies deal 5% more damage per each debuff placed by this wearer. Now, there's a little bit of important things to understand here, okay? It is only going to affect direct damage. So it will not improve bomb, burns, or indirect reflect damage or anything of that nature. It only affects the times, the amount of damage that I do when I hit an enemy. And it is calculated on a per target basis. So what I mean by this is if I was to place this on someone like Lydia and I put the Feral out on all enemies, it's only going to count 5% on each target debuff. So if I put it on 3 enemies, then it's, say like I put Lydia's A2 here, right? So I've got Lydia right now. She's also a 9-piece bonus. If I was to apply her Siren's Wail, then I will place 2 debuffs on the enemy. Now, this isn't going to give me in a wave of 5 enemies like 2 times 5. No. What it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, the first enemy has 2 debuffs, 10% more damage. The second enemy has 2 debuffs, that enemy gets 10% more damage. It's calculated on a target by target basis. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that you need to be realistic that you can't get 500% or something crazy like that. But why is Riho in particular super good for this? Because she is the queen of single target debuffs. She places more single target debuffs than pretty much any character in the game, and she does it in 1 hit, where other current champions like Ramandu does it in 4. I think Calamitous does it in 4. She has such a high density of debuffs. Not all of them are going to work on every target, like stun doesn't work on bosses, but pretty much if you can crowd control it, you're going to get 6 debuffs. And if you are fortunate enough like me to have a 6-star Riho, then Brimstone is going to be an extra debuff. And these debuffs here, it counts towards that Feral. It's a form of debuffs. If you were to bring something like a Leech Mastery, right? If you have the crowd control with a Leech Mastery here, if you were to bring this Harvest Despair, then that Leech will also count towards this. So if you really min-max this, if you have a 6-star Riho and you put her in the right setup, really I should get rid of this and I should put her in for this this crowd control, I could get 7 debuffs on the target. And that means I'm getting 7 times 5% damage, and it really adds up, okay? This is where it's really powerful. Now, there's some things to note. We've already mentioned this. I'm really frustrated about this in Clan Boss. You can't scale enemy max HP in Chimera or traditional Clan Boss with this effect. It doesn't work, okay? You cannot do it. You can only do it with direct damage dealers in that sense. So you can bring someone like a Whisper, you can bring someone like a Karnage, you can bring someone like a Ninja. Ninja will benefit from all of these multipliers because he's not doing enemy max HP damage, he's doing direct damage. Whereas someone like Marius, someone like Newt, you won't get any bonuses. The only thing that can boost a Marius or Newt's damage in Chimera is critical damage, bring in something like a weaken, decrease defense on the target, and ignore defense bonuses, and then any sort of increased critical damage buff also works. Passives and ally passives do nothing to improve the damage from those enemy max HP. Not for normal damage dealers, so that's just a big caveat. Now, effectively, what can you do with this? Well, with Riho, she puts so many debuffs out that what you can do is effectively push your damage into an obscene number, and I've really pushed it to the nth degree here in Phantom Shogun Grove. I've literally built the most giga possible team here, and if I had a +4 Whisper, I'm 99% confident I could do some stupid numbers. So what are we doing? Why is this making sense? Because the thing we need to understand about the meta of Raid Shadow Legends right now, it's all about stacking multipliers. I use this term a lot, stacking multipliers. What I mean by that is finding all the different sources of all the different damage you can do and stack multipliers together so that you're multiplying your damage over and over again, right? There's so many different ways you can multiply your damage. The more you can build into one champion, the more you can really elevate the damage. So I've got my Whisper here, right? She's in full Merciless, not quite a +4 yet. I've been still trying to hunt her down. Still a little bit of optimizations I could do here. You can see like I've got crit damage in the right place here. I've got attack percent, I've got speed, I've got crit damage. She's pretty much there, you know, we can probably ascend this all the way up here. She is pretty much as best as she's going to get it. Have an attack ring. We've got attack. We've got defense. We've got defense. Okay, those two could be better. Obviously, space for glyphing as well. But she is pretty decked out, right? I can't really get her much stronger than this right now. She is using some of my best gear that I have on this. Now, the only thing that would be nice is if I could actually get like a better attack ring. And then obviously a more favorable banner. A bit more of a damage-based banner. Those are the only two things I could really improve here. But in 9 out of 9 Whisper, we currently have her at 258 speed, 73% crit rate, 384% critical damage, and 7.5k attack. Now, these are crazy numbers. This is very much a video about showing you the power of pushing your characters to the absolute limit. Not necessarily something I'm saying everyone can do this, because this is obviously years and years of grinding. Really some of the best Merciless luck that I've had, right? I've put the best gear. She's 6-star. She's not fully awakened. She's only a +3, so keep in mind that that means that she's missing out on 30% attack, 15% crit damage, 5% crit rate. She's missing out on quite a lot. That's what that empowerment will give us when we eventually get them. She's in a pretty standard setup here. We've got her in like Helm Smasher, maximum damage, fully booked out, crushing rend, and then I've put Cat's Gaze on her, right? I move this around when I want to. Right now, we are using whatever gemstones we've got. I don't really think I've got any better gemstones. I mean, we could absolutely put this on. It would be better than some of these, right? This, what is it? Like, probably better than that one. We can socket that. Brilliant. And then we've got this. Using multi-hits, we will deal 3% more damage, okay? So we've got this circular gemstones. We've basically got, will deal more damage in dungeon battles. So we've pretty much decked this out. When this is maxed, we get more. Right now, we're getting 12, 14, 16. I wish we didn't have to do the math here, but we do. 16% ignore defense, right? So we've got 16% ignore defense on top of the 35 we have here, on top of Helm Smasher, on top of area bonuses if we were to use them. And this is where you can really start getting crazy, right? You can stack up your ignore defense. But what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be stacking multipliers. So what do I mean by that? Multiplier 1 is 10% more damage when we are in a dungeon. That's multiplier 1. Multiplier 2, when I hit, the next hit is 3%. That's multiplier 2. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the feral multipliers. This is a 35% or 30% multiplier without the leech. So 30% multiplier doesn't have the stun as well. So it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when we put the burn. 30% multiplier. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to abuse the next multiplier set you can do, which is actually protection. Right, I've got my Finer here. Finer is an amazing protection set champion. She places 3 buffs and places another 3 buffs. And not only that, we also can do extra damage out of turn. That's another multiplier. You see what I'm saying? Everything is a multiplier on top of a multiplier. Now, she's going to apply 6 buffs in a full protection set, so that's another 30% multiplier. We're also going to bring Ambassador Lethelin. So Ambassador Lethelin here. he is going to give us more buffs. He can give us 2 buffs on here, a taunt and a reflect damage. Those are 2 unique buffs. He's a 9 out of protection. That's another 10% to add to the list. Now, protection is probably going to all add together as one single multiplier rather than, because generally the rule of thumb with raid is everything that is the same thing kind of works together, but it's still 2 multipliers, 30% and 40%. We're adding those 2 multipliers together. Then we put weaken, 25%. This is the stacking we're doing. So this is just to demonstrate to you how much you can do. If I just bring Whisper right now, okay, and I just basically say, hey, let's just bring someone like Bellinor. Okay, we're going to bring Bellinor. He's going to do decreased defense and weaken. We need to get someone like Scartorsis, who is going to be able to give us an increased attack and increased crit rate to get Whisper going. Okay, we're just going to do this. And all we're going to do is we're going to bring in our Renegade so that we make sure that the enemies will always attack our highest crit damage, right? One of my Renegades has a crazy amount. This one. So we always don't get the weaken, right? So this is the example of how this is going to scale, okay? We have very little, very, very little damage here. We're going to put decreased defense, weaken, and then we're going to basically use the abilities, okay? So let's do some damage test here. We're going to do 540, 477, and then we're going to do 789, okay? So we've basically killed about 1/3 of the boss's health with this setup here. And we can basically go again. We can just finish the boss off here, right? So basically 1 rotation was about 1/3. We've got to get around to this cycle here. We'll probably have a few weak hitting. It's fine. She's just getting a few extra turns. Of course she is. This is the Merciless set. If you haven't tried 9-piece Merciless Whisper, you are missing out on a lot of fun. She's very fun. We might actually not kill the boss because... oh, we'll be fine, actually. There we go. She's very fun on 9-piece Whisper because she goes crazy and crazy amounts of turns. So we basically killed that to about 1/3. Now let me show you the difference when you add all these extra multipliers and when we add all these things, right? So we're going to bring the actual team that I now run for this area. It's this team here, okay? This is the difference when you scale these multipliers, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to buff. We're going to put all of these buffs on her. So she now has 30% bonus damage. We're going to put 6 debuffs out on the enemy. This is now 30% more damaged here. We're going to do another one here. I could actually get another protection buff. I could actually put another protection buff on her. Watch the damage difference. First hit, second hit. We almost one-shot it with the A3, and then we did a 1.5. So we converted a 789,000 hit into 1.5 million by layering. Essentially, all we did is we brought in a feral and protection sets. That is all we did there, because they both had decreased defense and weaken. We just basically brought those 2 multipliers in. That is the big thing about Raid Shadow Legends right now. If you can stack your multipliers, you can do some crazy, crazy amounts of damage. And this is not even a +4 Whisper. When this is a +4 Whisper, she is going to one-shot this boss with an A3 with a maxed out Cat's Gaze. It's not even going to be a challenge. She's pretty much nearly there. And this is why I have been after Feral for so long, and why I'm actually kind of frustrated that it doesn't help. It doesn't work from enemy max HP a little bit, because I know enemy max HP is strong in Chimera, but it would be great if we could like lower the cap but allow us to scale damage so we can have a lot of fun. Now, the real part of the fun comes in when you start going and exploring relic options, because relics, when you put Feral, when you put protection, it makes for interesting combinations. In particular, one that I'm trying to chase right now, which is Karnage. Karnage in particular, when you get into his alternate form, because he can get to true damage without needing anything like Crushing Rend, allows you to stack things like Nature's Wrath, right? He does some debuffs, stack Nature's Wrath. If he spreads debuffs, Nature's Wrath counts for that. You can get 30% bonus here. Then you can go and get a Rethi's Comet. That's another 30%. They're separate multipliers on top of a Feral and a Protection. And if you can then go in and also get some of these powerful gemstones that really, really help him. There's some crazy gemstones that are absolutely god tier for Karnage. This one in particular, the wearer deals 50% more damage when counterattacking. Karnage counterattacks all the time. This will deal 100% because you can get 2 of these on a Cat's Gaze. It will double the damage of his A1 counterattack, which is one of the most powerful counterattacks, if not the most powerful attack in the game, if you get him set up right. I have done the math, and I'm fairly confident that once I get everything in line with Karnage, when you get his different bonus, he gets a lot from a 5-star soul. 5-star soul for Karnage is probably the most significant gain of damage of any awakened champion in the entire game. Any rarity. It is a crazy amount because of the way his passive works. You stack this, you put the different blessings and different things, you can get Karnage hitting that A1 as good as a Toshiro if you can get everything in line. That is what the math is showing. So the key thing to take away from this video, guys, Feral is amazing on the right characters. It doesn't have to be a Riho. You can use it on Romantu. You can put it on people that does poisons, right? Poisons will count. Every single poison will add damage. Any champion that can do a lot of debuffs, this is really good for in PvE settings. I wouldn't trust it for the 6-piece bonus. I think Intercept is just better for that. But definitely for the 9-piece bonus. Riho in particular, this set is made for Riho. It is the best set you can put on Riho. Stacking that with protection and all these other things, you can do some godly, absolute godly things with the right champion and the right build. There is nothing that can really withstand the damage of this Whisper when she's fully maxed out. And it is all down to the multipliers, stacking multipliers. So I hope that was interesting. I hope that gives you some insight as to how Feral works and what you can do and how you can really push your account, what you should do with the gear that you're getting from Siege bonus, you know, from victory chests. Now, yes, it does require you to win Siege. I'm fully aware of this. It's very difficult. I'd like to see them put more of the accessories in the actual Siege rewards rather than just having to win all the time, because it has taken me... Effectively, we have won everything but one Siege, and I've only managed to just get Riho's 3 pieces in one go. So that's a bit of a challenge to get yourself a 9-set bonus, and it's not really as good. It's like protection. It's not that good until you get the 9-piece bonus. The 9-piece is really where it comes online. Let me know in the comments below. Have you found any other combinations of Feral OP-ness that you're looking into? Any different champions you're finding really, really good balances with? I've used it so far on Lydia. I'm thinking of using it on Gwendolyn in sort of Chimera. It could be a really good mix. Any champion that does a lot of debuffs I think is really good for. But let me know in the comments below, guys. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.